There is a door inside you, and the key is not somewhere far. It's in your breath, your silence, your willingness to remember. Imagine yourself standing before a door. It's not an ordinary door. This one hums with mystery. You can feel it. Something profound waits behind it. But the handle won't turn. Not yet. The key? It's hidden within you. Not outside. Not in someone else's wisdom. Yours. That door is your third eye, your pineal gland. And the key to unlocking it begins not with force, but with awareness. In the esoteric teachings passed down through secret societies and ancient texts, especially within the 33rd degree of Freemasonry, the activation of the pineal gland is not merely a metaphor. It's a sacred practice. The instructions are subtle but powerful. Still the mind through meditation. Open the body through yoga. Nourish the soul through sunlight. And learn to work with the sacred fluid, DMT. This video is not just an explanation. It's an initiation. We are going to piece together the fragments of forgotten knowledge that have long been buried beneath rituals, symbols, and veiled language. We will not complicate, we will reveal. Because understanding the mystery of the number 33 is to understand a cosmic equation that binds body, mind, and spirit into a single radiant axis. Let's begin with numbers, the language of the universe. Numbers are not just tools for measurement. They are the original language of the cosmos. From the moment we are born, numbers surround us. Our birth dates, our homes, our age, the rhythm of our breath. Time ticks in numbers. Seasons change by number. And beneath it all, each number holds vibration, resonance, meaning. Numerology, a sacred science as old as language itself, teaches us that every number carries a frequency, a code, a key. But among them, a few shine brighter. These are called master numbers, 33 being one of the most powerful. Master numbers are not random. They are the skeleton keys to inner realms. In Kabbalah, in Hermeticism, and across spiritual systems, 33 has always represented completion, elevation, and the unification of opposites. It is the bridge between the earthly and the divine. The sacred life of 33. Jesus is said to have died at age 33, a symbol, not just a historical footnote. In the Christian mystery tradition, this number marks the point of total sacrifice and spiritual rebirth. In sacred geometry, the tetrahedron, a foundational shape representing fire, transformation, and the four elements, has 33 vertices. It is not coincidence. It is code. The Rosicrucians hold the number 33 in reverence. It's the mark of the initiate, the one who has reached the highest threshold, not through power, but through wisdom. And Freemasonry? It's no different. The 33rd degree is the pinnacle, not a badge, but a state of expanded awareness. But it's not about belonging to a group. It's about becoming. The eye within, pineal gland and sacred fluid. At the core of all these teachings lies one tiny gland, tucked deep in the brain, shaped like a pine cone, and known as the third eye. The pineal gland is not just a biological structure. It's a gate, a transmitter, a receiver. When dormant, it simply regulates your sleep through melatonin. But when activated, it releases DMT, the mysterious molecule sometimes called the sacred fluid. DMT is the biochemical equivalent of a doorway to other dimensions. It's found in nature, in sacred plants like chacruna, and in your own brain. When it floods the system, whether naturally or during deep meditative states, people report visions, spiritual encounters, expanded consciousness. This is not fiction. It has been documented, studied, and honored by ancient healers and modern scientists alike. Dr. Rick Strassman's research on DMT revealed hundreds of participants reporting eerily similar experiences, entering otherworldly realms, meeting spiritual beings, and gaining insights that transform their lives. And yet, what's most important is that the body produces this substance naturally, meaning that access to transcendence isn't granted by anything external. It's built into you, just like the key to that mysterious door. The path of activation. Mystery schools speak of the number 33 not only as a symbol, but as a frequency. It's said that when the pineal gland is fully activated, when meditation becomes silence, when breath becomes awareness, the sacred fluid is released in perfect alignment with the 33rd vibration. This is the elevation. This is the union of heaven and earth within you. There are ways to consciously work with this number. Notice when it appears. Clocks, signs, receipts. It's not random. It's resonance. Meditate on the number, visualize it, feel its shape, repeat it as a mantra. Use it in rituals. Light candles, repeat affirmations, breathe 33 deep breaths with intention. What matters most is presence. Ritual is just a form. Your awareness is the force. There is no awakening without stillness, no vision without the eye that sees inward first. Let's return to the symbol of the third eye, not just a point on your forehead, not a decoration of spiritual branding, but a living mechanism waiting for attention, patience, and activation. The pineal gland has been called many names across history: the seat of the soul, the inner eye, the crystal gate. But no matter the title, one truth remains constant. It is a bridge between matter and spirit, between what we see and what we know. And it all begins with one molecule, DMT. The sacred fluid dimethyltryptamine, known by many as DMT, is a naturally occurring substance found in plants, animals, and within the human brain. But its purpose goes beyond biology. DMT is often referred to as the sacred fluid, a name whispered across ancient traditions and echoed in modern metaphysical science. Why? Because this molecule doesn't just affect your perception. It alters the structure of consciousness itself. It is believed that when the pineal gland is stimulated through spiritual discipline, meditation, sunlight, stillness, this sacred fluid is released. And in that release, something opens. The veil thins. The world shifts. Ancient tribes have consumed DMT-containing plants in ceremonial form for thousands of years, like chacruna used in ayahuasca ceremonies, claiming it allows communication with spiritual beings, insights into the self, and the experience of what lies beyond life and death. But the most astonishing truth is that you don't need to ingest anything. Your body already holds the key. Dr. Rick Strassman's research, detailed in DMT, the spirit molecule, documented the extraordinary effects of intravenous DMT in over 400 participants. What they described wasn't just hallucination. It was encounter. It was transcendence. They saw light. They saw structure. Some described feeling as if they had been remembered by the universe. The inner laboratory. Let us be clear, the journey of pineal activation is not casual. It is alchemical. Think of your body as a temple, your breath as the incense, your mind as the altar. When all are aligned, the sacred fluid becomes the offering. And in that moment, the ritual begins. This isn't fantasy, it's inner physics. The practices that lead to activation are rooted in ancient disciplines. Meditation to still the noise and invite silence. Yoga to align the spine and direct the flow of prana. Sunlight to nourish the gland through natural energy. Breathwork to modulate the rhythm of life itself. The pineal gland is photoreceptive. It responds to light, both physical and metaphysical. Which is why so many initiatory traditions speak of illumination not as a metaphor, but as a literal internal glow. And when that glow reaches a certain frequency, when all internal systems harmonize, DMT releases. Not always suddenly. Sometimes it's a slow bloom, a gradual awakening. But when it happens, you know. Vision beyond vision. What happens during this moment is different for everyone, yet universally described as profound. Some feel a rush of clarity, as if the mind has been scrubbed clean. Others report visions, light beings, sacred geometry, endless fields of color and sound. It's not always peaceful. Some experience ego death, intense self-confrontation, or overwhelming emotion. But even that is part of the path. Because awakening requires dissolution, the breaking down of what is false to make space for what is real. And at the center of all of it is the number 33. This is not superstition. This is frequency. Why 33? The hidden code, mystery schools, esoteric orders, and sacred architecture have long embedded the number 33 in their teachings, because it represents a culmination, the moment where lower consciousness gives way to higher understanding. In numerology, 33 is a master number, representing universal compassion, spiritual guidance, and the elevation of the human soul. In Hermetic thought, 33 marks the integration of the divine triad with earthly duality, transcended by the vibration of 11. Culminating in 33, the synthesis of opposites, the awakening of the whole being. In Freemasonry, the 33rd degree is not just symbolic, it's a threshold, a stage of inner realization reserved for those who have walked the path with commitment and integrity. And so, it is said that when DMT is released in sync with the 33rd vibration of the soul, transformation occurs. Sacred practice, the ritual of 33. To connect with this energy, practitioners have long used the number 33 as a focus point in meditation and ritual. It is seen as a sacred beacon, a signal of alignment. Some choose to meditate on the number itself, visualizing it in light, drawing it on paper, repeating it as mantra. Others build rituals around it. 33 breaths before sleep, 33 affirmations spoken aloud in the morning, 33 steps in a walking meditation. The number becomes more than a symbol. It becomes a frequency container, a vessel for intention, devotion, and spiritual contact. And when done with sincerity, these practices prepare the vessel, the self, for the descent of the sacred fluid, for the moment of release, for the moment when the inner door opens. Symbols are the language of the soul, and when you learn to read them, the universe begins to speak. Imagine this: you're not just unlocking a door, you're walking into a temple, one that was built for you, within you, before you were even born. A temple encoded with symbols, whispers, and sacred geometry. The place that only reveals itself when you're ready to remember. That's what the number 33 is. A symbol, a signal, a frequency of readiness. And nowhere is this more deeply preserved than in the teachings of Freemasonry. But forget what you've heard. This isn't about conspiracy. It's about initiation. The mystery of the 33rd degree. The 33rd degree of the ancient and accepted Scottish rite is not just a position. It is a metaphysical metaphor, a ritual acknowledgement of one who has reached a state of inner mastery. To reach this degree is to symbolically ascend a ladder of consciousness. 32 steps of refinement, trials, symbolic deaths, and then, finally, the 33rd step, illumination. This number, carefully placed, whispers the presence of a secret. And that secret is this: you are not separate from the divine. You are a reflection of it. Throughout history, some of the most influential minds have been associated with the 33rd degree. Figures not just of power, but of transformation. But the real journey isn't about them. It's about you. Because whether or not you ever step into a lodge or wear a symbol, the 33rd degree is available to anyone willing to do the inner work. The pineal gland as the inner altar, deep within the skull, in the center of your brain, sits the pineal gland, a structure shaped like a pine cone, the sacred seed of perception. Ancient temples feature pine cone imagery everywhere, from the Vatican's Cortile della Pina to Egyptian staffs and Sumerian carvings. Why? Because the pine cone is a symbol of activation, of inner vision, of the eye that sees truth beyond illusion. Freemasonry teaches that this gland is a portal, the place where spirit and matter meet. And at the 33rd degree, the initiate is given the symbolic keys to open that portal through alignment, purification, and deep spiritual discipline. These teachings are never given directly. They are cloaked in symbols, rituals, and allegory. But once decoded, the message is clear. You are the temple, and the key is already within you. Light, energy, and the sacred current. When the pineal gland is activated, truly awakened through breath, focus, and light, it begins to radiate. This isn't metaphorical. Brain scans show increased activity. People report surges of intuition, clarity, and sometimes even visual light in closed-eye states. This is the descent of the sacred fluid. It is said that when your breath is steady, your spine aligned, and your mind still, a flow begins. Subtle at first, like a warmth behind the eyes, then waves, then pulses, then silence. And in that silence, a clarity you can't explain, only feel. The number 33 isn't just a marker, it's an energetic tuning fork. You don't need a ceremony. You don't need permission. What you need is presence, devotion, and patience. Because the greatest initiations don't happen in cathedrals or temples. They happen in stillness, in solitude, in the quiet places where spirit speaks. Practices to anchor the frequency of 33. Here are some ways modern seekers work with the energy of 33, not as dogma, but as living ritual. Silent meditation, 33 minutes in the morning, undisturbed, just breath and presence. Mantra repetition, chant or mentally repeat sacred phrases 33 times. Examples: I see, I remember, I am. Sacred movement, 33 conscious steps during walking meditation. Barefoot, present, intentional. Breath ritual. Inhale for 3, hold for 3, exhale for 3. Repeat 11 times. That's 33 breaths of conscious connection. As you work with these practices, start to observe. How does your mind shift? What symbols appear in your dreams? What synchronicities begin to unfold? These are not accidents. They are signals. And the more you align, the more frequent they become. The secret geometry of your awakening. There's an ancient belief that the human spine has 33 vertebrae, and that Kundalini energy, the serpent of consciousness, rises through this staircase toward the pineal gland, activating each energy center along the way. From the root to the crown, 33 steps. Coincidence? Or code? From the perspective of sacred anatomy, you are a temple of 33 gates, and when the final gate opens, light floods the system. The pineal gland becomes a lantern, the body becomes a conduit, the soul becomes a mirror. And then you remember. Enlightenment is not becoming something else, it's remembering who you were before forgetting began. The moment comes not with thunder or light, but with stillness. You don't see it coming, you don't plan for it. It arrives when the conditions are right, when breath, presence, and intention converge. A pulse behind the brow, a warmth in the skull, a stillness in the chest. Then, silence. And in that silence, the sacred fluid flows. This isn't myth, it's experience. And those who have felt it describe it not as a dream or vision, but as a return to a state more real than waking life. a sense of home within yourself. Some call it awakening, others call it divine union, but all agree it changes everything. The sacred fluid and the rebirth of perception. When the pineal gland activates fully and releases DMT, the experience can be sudden or subtle. For some, it's a flash of visions. For others, a quiet knowing. Either way, what follows is a reordering of the internal world. People describe a sensation of being connected to everything, an understanding beyond words, encounters with entities or intelligences of pure light, a sense of purpose so deep it rewrites identity. And yet, this is not the end. It's the beginning. Because to awaken once is to receive a glimpse. To integrate that awakening into your daily life is the real initiation. The real meaning of enlightenment. Enlightenment has been misunderstood. It's not a state of perfection, not a place without pain or challenge. It's this, the ability to hold duality in peace, to walk through a chaotic world with a quiet center, to feel everything but not drown, to remember, even as others forget. The number 33, this sacred signal, isn't a destination. It's a frequency you tune into again and again, like an eternal radio signal from the divine. And every time you return to your breath, to your stillness, to your intention, you hear it more clearly. How to bring the light back home. The final test of the initiate has never been in visions. It's in integration. How do you take what you've seen into the way you listen to your loved ones, the way you eat, breathe, walk, the way you respond to fear, to pain, to change? Every mystical experience is an invitation to embody something higher. And that embodiment happens in the mundane, in your routines, your boundaries, your compassion, your silence. Ritual becomes rhythm, discipline becomes devotion, and light becomes your language. You are the temple. You are the key. The story never was about symbols. It was about you. The 33rd degree isn't about Freemasonry. It's not about a title. It's about stepping into the truth that your body, your breath, your awareness are the lodge, the altar, and the light. You came here to remember. And now that you have the key, you realize something. The door was never locked. Final reflection. There is no guru coming, no savior descending. The instructions were always inside you. The breath, sacred. The silence, holy. The you that's reading this now, eternal. So take this wisdom with reverence, but not with fear, because it doesn't ask for belief. It asks for experience. Breathe in, breathe out, and when you're ready, open the door.